I'm assuming, and you tell me if I'm wrong, a lot of your success came from the repetition and the foundation that you built as a football player on how to be successful there and applied over to your business success now. Is that true or false? This is episode number 10 of the Ask the BCE Show. It's live, Mark. We got to keep going. Today's a good day, guys. I'm up here in Mile High Sports Talk Radio, and I got a guest. I'm super excited about this guest. His name is Mark Jackson, a ex-professional Bronco wide receiver. He's part of the Three Amigos. I'm sure you talk about that all the time, right?
All the time.
But super excited about it, and I'm really excited to talk about what you learned in football, a 9-year career span.
Yes,
which that's a really good career. And I obviously I did some research before we sat down.
Nice.
So, man, you got a really good career, man. So props to that for sure.
It was a different way of getting there, but it turned out really well. I was a walk-on at Purdue University, so you're talking about being in Nebraska and Lincoln being the pro team, basically.
That's right.
Tongue-in-cheek of Nebraska, but Purdue University, not really a powerhouse football team, a football school. It's an engineering school, and I just love the sport of football. So I was a walk-on there. So for people that don't know what a walk-on is, whenever I'm doing talks, I'll ask people, raise your hand if you've seen the movie Rudy, and of course everybody raises their hand. Everybody saw Rudy, right? And I'll tell everybody, hey, I was the black Rudy at Purdue. So a guy that had a lot of ambition, loved the sport of football, but not very much talent. So that's literally what happened in 1981 was I just walked on and was a blocking dummy and, never really had any potential of playing football. And just from the process of showing up, keep showing up, and the passion that I have for the sport, I got better. So repetition is the mother of skill, yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that hard work.
Hard work.
I'm sure you probably had to outwork most.
Well, there's a lot of guys that quit. So, at Purdue, I think we had like 115 guys that tried out for the team my freshman year, of which, if you count all 4 years, maybe about 60, 70 of them were scholarship guys. So 40 guys that were in my shoes that just wanted the glitz and glamour, maybe getting a chance to get on the field and love the game, and they quit.
Right.
And that was, as I look at life, as I look at business, for blue-collar entrepreneurs, that's what happens a lot of times is people quit, isn't it?
Oh, man. 90% of all small businesses fail within 5 years. 70% fail within 1 year. There's a lot of quitting going on in entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
absolutely. So from Purdue, obviously you made the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got... Did you get drafted to the Broncos?
I did, 6th round. So I quit my sophomore year at Purdue, came back out my junior year when the whole coaching staff left. It wasn't until my senior year that I got a chance to even get on the field. And in 1986, I was drafted in the 6th round by the Broncos, which I don't think they even have 6 rounds of the draft anymore.
Hey man, I would take that.
At that time, 6th round meant that you had probably about a 30% chance of making the team. Mm-hmm. And we had about 15 receivers, literally of which 13 of us was trying out for 2 positions.
2 spots.
Yeah. Because Vance Johnson and Steve Watson pretty much had their spots locked up. We had 2 more active roster spots that I think the rest of us were vying for. But, yeah, made the team.
All right, let me stop you real quick because I'm really curious on that variable of from college, from being a walk-on, there's only so many spots, right? And you just, from what you said, is you didn't have all the talent in the world. You were undersized, right? Right. So what's the variable that made you successful in college, and then made you successful to make the team on the Broncos? Just to make the team, make one of those 2 spots out of the 13. What's that variable?
I think there's lots, of course. A lot of it's luck. It's a variable that most people don't take in consideration.
Controlled luck?
Well, luck is when opportunity meets preparation, right? That's a good definition of that. That's controlled luck. The fact of the matter is there were guys that were trying out for the team that year that were much more talented than I was. So Joe Thomas, for instance, played at Mississippi Valley State. He had 115, 120 catches his senior year. I have 40 catches for my entire career at Purdue. So he can obviously catch the football. Butch Johnson was a veteran in the league, so he obviously had shown. I think he was 8 or 9 years into his career. So timing, when I say luck is based on timing. It's based on preparation. It's based on, and I think for me, one of the determining factors for me, I believe, was the fact that I love football and I kept showing up. I was very tenacious.
Right.
And that's really the key is showing up.
90% of it just showing up and working hard, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So you made the team and 9-year NFL career in the Broncos, and I think one of the things I would say most people know about you would be the drive.
Yeah, that was my rookie year.
That was your rookie year?
Yeah.
What a rookie year, man.
Yeah. Rookie year, we go to the AFC Championship game in Cleveland, and they're throwing dog biscuits at us, and it was like surreal. I mean, it's never happened before in NFL history, and it probably will never happen again, where they allowed fans to bring dog biscuits into the stadium. So that whole end zone of the dog pound was covered with dog biscuits, man, and they were throwing them at us the entire game. I mean, like, is this legal? You hear this on your helmet.
I don't think they wouldn't be allowed to do that nowadays, man. Yeah.
But that was crazy, and you know, playing in Denver, it was a blessing. So I might use the word luck, or I might use the word blessing synonymously, because you know, John Elway, just a Mile High City, in the period of time that timing again that we're here, a lot of great players coming together and doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, it was an amazing year.
Yeah.
So, but 9-year career. Here's what I think a lot of people know Mark Jackson from the Mark Jackson Bronco player, the Three Amigos. What I'm most curious about, because I love business. I love business the way you love football.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's why you're so successful.
These guys, sometimes it's to a hindrance. They're like, if I'm gone for a little bit and I have time to think, they're worried that I'm going to start another company. I'm like a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. I think there's another guy like Warren Buffett, kind of like that. Another Nebraska kid, right?
Is he from Nebraska?
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, you are going to get 50 lashes to not know that Warren Buffett still lives in the same house in Omaha, Nebraska.
No kidding.
For his life, basically.
Dang,
yeah.
we're taking a trip to Nebraska. Guys.
There you go.
We're going to see Warren Buffett.
The show's going on the road.
But so on the business side, because you do a lot of stuff now, Mark. A lot of stuff, a lot of volunteering I've seen you do, a lot of stuff, your own business stuff. Catch us up to date on what are you doing now, and then I'll ask you a few questions after that. But like, tell me everything you got going on.
So I have a radio show first thing in the morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on Mile High Sports Radio. So this is the facility for Mile High Sports Radio, and as you see all these different magazine covers, Mile High Sports Magazine. So I do a show from 7 to 9. Get out of that show. Usually I'm working on a podcast or a live that I'm doing myself, like book calls that I do. Yep. That's one of my non-revenue generating activities that I do, lots of.
We have a few of those, don't we? Yeah,
exactly. I'm doing charities, but probably my passion, I also work with a painting company, kind of a spokesperson for them.
Okay.
But probably my biggest baby business, I guess I should say, is social business, which is a company I work with out of Dallas, Texas called Evolve.
Yes. And
the premise of that company is to buy one, give one business model, social business, that helps feed children worldwide that are suffering from malnutrition.
Man, that's really big. And I didn't know much about a social business. I didn't really know until you explained that to me just a few minutes ago before the show started. What a great concept, man, especially with food. Because, you were talking about the other businesses that did buy one, get one shoes and clothing and glasses, but man, hunger out there is an epidemic. So how does that even work? So someone would tell me how, like, if I wanted to go and buy your food, how do I do that, first of all? And then how does that food get distributed to people in need? Or my videographer might need some food here.
Oh, there you go.
How does that work right
He's
now?
holding it. Yeah. So I love buy one, give one. I love social business. It's really a business model that's the next evolution of business, I believe. And you're going to start to see a lot more companies use this business model because millennials absolutely insist on it. So in other words, if they're going to buy something, and you'll find that most human beings, if they're going to buy something and they have a choice of buying something that will benefit solely them, or if they can make the same purchase of the same product that can actually benefit someone else, they'd make a purchase. So there's been study and research around it.
Right.
But in this particular case, there's 6 million children that die every single year of malnutrition. So much like any other business, social business uses a marketplace that's already established. Right. So it's not a donation. Right. Donations, unfortunately, shrink and expand based on the economy. So in a good economy, everybody's giving at their church.
They're
donating
item.
to Race for the Cure or Muscular Dystrophy, whatever your favorite charity is. But if the economy gets bad, then people kind of get a little tighter on their money.
Right.
But guess what? If you have a product or service that's already found in the marketplace, they're still going to purchase shoes, or they're still going to eat or wear glasses. So here's an opportunity for a social business to continue to expand based on the economy of that product. So much like any other product, we do an affiliate marketing program.
We just started one of those actually too.
There you go.
Tell me about it.
There you go. So buying online. So
right.
Affiliate marketing is the way. There's a small company that started with affiliate marketing. It's called Amazon.
Small company.
I mean, when Jeff Bezos started Amazon,
he's used affiliate marketing.
He used affiliate marketing, and he still does. I mean, you can still be an affiliate of Amazon, which means that all you're doing is pointing people to a website, and for that referral, for you marketing their product or service, they'll give you a small percentage, anywhere from 2 to 3% in Amazon.
Right.
Nike does it. Bombas does it. Every company is using affiliate. Even your company.
We have our company. Here's a plug. I'm going to make a plug. Body Rival. We have an affiliate program for Body Rival. So it's something
there you go.
But yeah.
But doesn't that make sense? If I like Body Rival,
yeah.
I'm going to
buy a supplement.
I'm going to buy a supplement. I make referrals to my friends because if I'm looking good, if I'm using the product's working for me, people are always going to ask me why. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I eat this. And usually it's, people will go with that. You get a little bit more passionate about saying, I eat this when someone goes there and you get a little paycheck coming back.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. There's obviously a motive there.
Right.
And actually, you guys, can we link up? Is it okay if we link up your social company on where
Absolutely.
So anybody watching here can go there to buy food? Because
absolutely,
we buy food every day, right? And I would love to buy food from a place that sends food to someone in need.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. I'm going to buy it anyway.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, if we could link that up, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
So through affiliate marketing, basically it's just the acquisition of customers. And once again, if a product works for you, you'll continue to use it. And that's the benefit of growing a network. That's the benefit of social businesses. That number can grow. So in this room of 100 people, if 20 people eat it and they like it, and next month they order again, some of those people may start to get results after 3 months. You and I know nutrition is not like drugs.
Oh, no.
Drugs are looking for instant results and they're symptom specific, right? But nutrition is basically supporting your body, and it takes a little more time. So over 30 days, 60 days, over a 90-day period of time, a few of those people are starting to look better and feel better. Other people are attracted to that, and now that 20 becomes 40 people. Yep. Becomes 80,
And the reality is we are what we eat. Like our body generates millions, I think it was billions of cells every day. So
Absolutely.
we literally take that food and we are that.
We're a new person, I think every 6 or 8 months or something like that.
Yeah. That's great. And, I'm sure we got some questions coming through, but I'm gonna be a little bit selfish here, and I have a couple of questions I really wanted to ask you.
Okay.
I want to dig into one that's a little bit more emotional and personal. Is I believe you can learn a lot from failure, and I feel like failure is my biggest learning tool. Give me one example of how failure, one of you maybe have had a failure, and what has that done for your life, or how's that impacted your life?
It's funny you mentioned that. I just posted on my Facebook page. I can't think of what the quote is now. Something to the effect of, we're reading a book called The Obstacle is a Way.
Right.
By Ryan Holiday, and we're literally just into it, like the 3rd or 4th chapter now. But the essence of the book is saying sometimes you can find a treat or a jewel in failure or in an obstacle. So instead of shrinking up against this big, huge obstacle or turning on your tail and going the other way, you actually continue to approach that obstacle to look at it from a different perspective and figure out how you can find the jewel that's found in it. And for me, that failure, the biggest failure I had in business, I was very successful in real estate early on in my career. But I opened a restaurant, and my agent at the time, my agent told me, "Mark, you know how to make a small fortune in the restaurant business?" I said, "No, how do you do it? I want to learn." Start with a large one. In other words, if you have a large fortune, you're going to lose a lot of it
Right.
and make a small fortune in a restaurant.
I was going to say, don't do it.
I didn't explain that to my crowd. Yeah, in other words, don't do it. And unfortunately, a lot of times as human beings, in sports, I modeled other players.
Sure.
But most of us learn through modeling, through what we see or hear, but most of us learn through trial and error. So, of course, I moved ahead with that restaurant business, and about 16 months later, I was out of about $130,000 as we were closing the doors to that business. And what I learned from that business is you have to be present in your business. There is a time where hopefully you can turn your business into, instead of a residual income, a small business, especially for those blue collar entrepreneurs, is simply owning a job. That's a mindset that I like for people to understand. When you start a business, doesn't mean that you're Warren Buffett.
Right.
Day one.
You're being that glorified business owner and going on trips to the beach and
calling from your cell phone and find out what the profits are this week. No, that doesn't happen. Just like anything, it's based on over time. And I learned about hockey stick growth, and we talked about Amazon. Google Amazon and look at their stock market prices. Google Apple, Google Microsoft. Every one of those companies started with like a flatline growth. Looked like nothing was happening. As a matter of fact, with Amazon, Jeff Bezos, they lost. I remember because it was during the .com era, and I was in New York at the time when Amazon started. So I was kind of privy to Wall Street and everything that was going on. I was interested in that. And they lost money every time they sold a book. Not sure if you're aware of that. So what kind of business model is that, right?
it's attention.
Yeah, but he knew that there's two. If you drew the chart, this graph, there's two timelines. One is the amount of the rate at which we're losing money,
Right.
and one is the rate at which we're making money. And literally, at some point in time, Amazon reached that break-even point, and since then, the hockey stick growth has made Jeff Bezos. I think I did some numbers. I looked it up, and he's making $260,000 a minute or an hour. An hour.
Maybe, but he had to put in his time and take his lumps to get there, right?
Well, that's over a course of 18 years or 20 years or however long it's been. Since
So this restaurant that you opened up, and
you brought it up.
oh man, I want to know.
So I had 35 hormone-infested kids working for me, and I thought it was an investment. So every week, every month, it seemed like every day now that I look back at it, I was taking money out of my account for Band-Aids. Mark, we need more TVs. Mark, we need the newest this. Mark, we need new floors. So I put in a whole new floors in the restaurant. $40,000 for floors, right?
Yeah.
Hardwood floors, not just.
I'd be the best.
Which I learned, as an entrepreneur, you don't have to be the best.
Yeah.
You have to give great service, and you have to do what you say you're going to do.
Right.
And I hired someone to manage that company for me, and that was my first mistake, because I think you said it in your having skin in the game. No one cares about your business more than you do.
That's right. Yep.
So employees, unfortunately, they're always just passing through, especially in the restaurant business. If you ask any waiter, wait staff of any restaurant, hey, how you like your career as a waiter? Oh, I'm just doing this until I get out of college or I get a job, or so no one really takes pride in that business, and I learned that. So I learned that $130,000 was a great learning experience of how businesses work and what it takes to be successful.
Right. Well, and you hit it on the nail, man. And I've talked a little bit about it too. And it's human nature. Like, I don't fault anybody for it. A waiter, a wait staff, even the manager. Like, everybody has bills, and that's what they think about, and that's what they worry about. Is how do I get my bills paid? What they don't understand is sometimes they work themselves out of a job. It's like, if that company doesn't succeed, they're not going to be working there.
Yeah.
So do we have any live questions that we want to throw out right now? Nope. How about the actually I got a couple more for Mark, and then we'll do that one that came across last week. All right, so that's failure. Now tell me about I'm assuming, and you tell me if I'm wrong, a lot of your success came from the repetition and the foundation that you built as a football player on how to be successful there, and applied over to your business success now. Is that true or false?
True. Success leaves clues. So it doesn't always translate. Sports and athletics doesn't always translate directly to business, but there are some principles of sports that apply to business, that apply to life, actually. And one of the principles that we talked about was time, right? So, most people quit before they have success. So the Yard Darby story, I think it's like 4 inches from goal. The story about the guy who was mining here in Colorado and left everything back on the East Coast to come out here and make his fortune, and just couldn't make it happen. And he quit, sold all the equipment, and moved back to Pennsylvania. And 1 week later, they hit the biggest gold mine strike in Colorado history from his mine, because he quit right before. I think it was 4 inches or 8 inches from a main vein that he was missing. For me, the time element is that feeling, like even in the restaurant business, I fired everybody and I went in and I started working the business myself. So I started applying some of those principles of like showing up on a daily basis, right? Doing what I say I'm going to do, right? And giving great service, right? The restaurant started making money, but I knew that within probably about 60 days, I was going to have to report back to football camp and go back to my job.
Your real job, yeah.
Yeah, at which time I would probably get the same results that I got before when I wasn't there. Right. That's why I shut down the restaurant. Yeah. But I really believe if I had stuck with it, right now it's the melting pot. So if you're in Colorado and you're heading down Santa Fe and Bowles,
I know exactly where the melting pot's at.
It's been there forever since I shut down.
What's the name of your restaurant?
It's called Scribbles.
Scribbles.
We're known for cold beer or cold wings and hot beer. No, it's not. Yeah. It's
no wonder we're out of business, Mark.
No, it's crazy, man. It's crazy that every time I drop, I've refused to go in there. I've had a couple different friends of mine couples that have asked me, hey, you want to go and hang out at the melting pot? And I was like, I have not walked into that building since I left that building.
Bet, man, because
it hurts.
I don't care how much money you lose, if it's $1 million or $10.
Right.
It's the failure part that hurts. And it's hard to go back and look at. Hard to go back and look at what you did wrong. Because here's what I preach big time is, if I'm an owner of a company, no matter what happens in that company, if I have an employee still, if I have a fire, I don't know, whatever problem, it's my fault.
Who's
it's
responsible?
My fault.
Right.
And if it doesn't succeed, it's my fault, not my employee's fault. It's my fault.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
It's hard to go back and
I've learned that, and I've used some of those principles. In football, you have to show up every day. You don't practice every other day.
Yeah.
You've been in athletics. You know that. It's not even. It's a mindset where it's not even a question of if I show up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So of course I'm going to show up. Now it determines how long am I going to stay there and work really hard.
And of course I'm going to be successful.
Right.
That's another mindset. Never go into a business with. You want to have an exit strategy, long-term exit strategy for success. I went in with the concept of franchising, like you have.
Sure.
This concept of Scribbles restaurant. We have butcher block paper with Crayolas on it. And that was the concept that started. Oh, that's another thing in business that just another tidbit. If you're going to start a business, don't get caught up in the minutia of having it work out exactly in your business plan or whatever, because that stops people from starting a lot of times. Get started and understand that your initial plan is not necessarily the plan that's going to get you there. And I've read that in so many books.
9 times out of 10, it'll never be that.
Yeah. So, when I made money in that restaurant, we took the butcher block paper off. Yeah. And we went from 80% food, 20% booze, to 80% booze, 20% food, right? Now we just got bar food, finger foods.
You got to make changes, man.
And we made profits.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can, it's kind of a plan, do, review. If you can do like another analogy is the airplane that takes off in Denver heading to sunny San Diego right now. It's off course, I think, 80-90% of the time before it lands safely in San Diego. Yeah.
I use
There's course corrections.
A ship in the sea, if you're sailing to another continent, you better have a map, otherwise you're going to get lost.
Oh, there you go, man.
Yeah, so, you were talking about time earlier and how important time, we were talking about is how important time is in general. That's your biggest asset, right?
Yeah,
is time.
It is.
And spending your time on things that actually are important, that actually matter. And we're talking about how I was telling you how I was like basically a fireman a lot of times, where I'm just putting out fires.
Activities, right?
Yeah. Tell me, so how do you mitigate that in your day-to-day to be successful? Because if you spend all your time worrying about putting out fires, doing things that don't progress your companies or what you do, how do you prioritize that?
So Stephen Covey has a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that you can use once again for your life, but you can also use in business that will make a huge difference in your life. And he breaks it up into 4 quadrants. So quadrant 1, the 2 sides and halves of the quadrants are urgent and important. So everything that you do is either urgent or important.
Everything's urgent.
There you go for you.
Everything's
There you go. So that first quadrant is urgent and important things, and those are the brush fire things that you have to get done. Oh, forgot to pay the rent. You know, they're going to shut the doors if I don't. Or forgot to order this product that, you know. So that's urgent. You got to take care of that. That's quadrant 1. Quadrant 3 are urgent and unimportant. That's those other people that are pulling at your time, right?
Yeah.
And you're putting out their urgent fires.
Right.
It's not important to you, but it's important to them.
Right.
You know, Kurt, help me out with this, man. And you got the big heart, right? So you want to go help those people. And then there's quadrant 4, which is you're not urgent and not important. So that's your time with the family. That it is important. I shouldn't use that term, but
to the
less
business.
important, right?
Yeah.
To the business, exactly.
Yeah.
That's your leisure time, going to a movie, maybe on vacation.
Right.
And then there's quadrant 2. It's not urgent, but important.
Right.
And that's the most important quadrant. That's where you get your most productivity out of. And the way that you use that is you need to look at your business and find out what it is that's important to make your business, to make profits for you. And focus on those activities as opposed to the brush fires and other people's activities and just chilling out like we talked about earlier, thinking that you've arrived.
I like that, man. I like that quadrant. I'm going to have to read that book.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have said to my employees, hey, if you have a problem, solve it first. If you can't solve it, bring me 3 solutions to solve it when you call me.
Wow. You sound like Bill Gates.
Right?
Bill Gates says something like to the effect of, if I want something done, I find the laziest person on my staff because they get it done faster in the most efficient way.
Is that right?
Because they want to get back to being lazy.
Right.
Right?
I like that, man. Alex, I got like 1 or 2 more questions. I think. How are we doing on time, guys? I don't want to push these guys too far.
He's got strong
What time is it?
shoulders.
I know. You see that? Holding that boom the whole time.
You asked all of them except top 3 habits for success.
Wait, we talked about it. Do you use those habits yourself, the ones you just talked about, the quadrant, or if you had to like say my top 3 habits that I've learned in my career, my life for success are?
I'm learning the importance of synergy. So kind of like what you said, one of the things that people have a real issue with that start a business, that are blue collar entrepreneurs especially, is asking for help. And that's the ability to engage other people and leverage yourself, because there's no way that you can actually achieve big things without the help of other people.
That's right.
And another book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker talks about there's just a difference. Rich people aren't better than poor people. They just think differently.
Different mindset.
Yeah. Just like what you just said. When I talk to an employee, hey, give me a solution. Solve it, first of all, and I don't even want to hear about it. Or give me 3 solutions that you bring to me when you have a problem. That's the ability to leverage and to inspire other people, and that's literally how you make millions. You can't make millions on your own effort. It's just very, very difficult. Doctors try it, lawyers try it. Certain occupations you can do it. Maybe if you're an athlete or a movie star, you can make millions on your own effort. But for the average person, and when you talk about the business world, it's all about leveraging. So it's your ability to inspire other people, to communicate with other people, and to have other people understand, like you said, that we're all in this together, and your success is my success. And that's what I've learned probably is the biggest thing, and your ability to ask for help.
Humbling enough.
Wealthy people have no problems with that. Poor people feel like asking for help makes them look weak or insufficient or unintelligent.
Right.
Wealthy people understand that. Henry Ford was the guy that never had a high school education, but hired all the right people around him. And that's another story. That's a big court case. You might want to Google that.
Oh, yeah?
Where he sued one of the newspapers of the day. Wrote an article about how incompetent he was. And I believe they used the word ignorant. So that's
wow.
That's slanderous, right?
Yeah.
And he sued him because and he proved that no, I don't have book smarts, but I am smart enough to hire the right people.
That's right.
To get the job done.
Well, there's a big thing I definitely believe in is resourcefulness. So the difference between success and failure is whether when people fail, it's like, oh, I didn't have enough money, I didn't have enough good people, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. It's like, well, be resourceful, and if you're resourceful, you will have the resources to succeed. Right? So,
Anthony Robbins.
Yes. Yeah. What's up, Reese? What we got?
Oh, nothing, we're good.
Okay, good. All right, so we've got one question that came in last week when I talked about skin in the game, so we need to answer that question for who was it for, Alex?
It was for Arcanete.
Arcanete. Oh, that's his Instagram handle. I do believe.
Okay.
The question is, would like to hear some detail on what you mean when bringing them in. Do you mean financial buy-in? How do you determine who you want to bring in?
Right. So last week I talked about skin in the game. I talked about how I have a philosophy that because I run so many businesses, a serial entrepreneur, I have too many, and it's too many for one man to handle. So I really believe that if I take my good employees and I bring them in by offering them ownership of the company, where they're actually putting money in, their own money, their own skin in the game, they're going to care a lot more about that company.
Absolutely.
Whether it's $100 or if it's $50,000, it doesn't matter. If you have skin in the game, you're going to care and you're going to have ownership and feel like you have ownership. So with that question, the details of that would be you're going to know who the right guys are to bring in. Obviously, look at integrity issues. Look at the people that you feel can take your company to the next level if they had that extra drive, that extra push of skin in the game.
Right.
And the best way to do that is just open it up and offer whatever they can. I've even done a payment plan where they pay me monthly on increasing shares of the company. What's your thoughts on that, Mark?
That makes sense. Also, profit sharing through over time. Once again, using that element of time. So when we're driving more success, that success could be your success. There's a lot of companies that are starting to use those type of principles, not necessarily allowing them to
buy in.
It's
very controversial to business owners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I get it because you feel like you put your blood, sweat, and tears in your concept or your ideas. Mm-hmm. But what I've learned is, and I think is what you're sharing is, I'd rather have a small piece of a lot of pies than a big piece of one pie that may or may not work.
Right.
That makes sense. So multiple streams of income, and literally what you want, ultimately what we all want to get to is multiple streams of passive income. So that is that income. Passive income, just to give you the distinguishing factor, you have linear income. I teach people trading time for dollars. That's the job, right?
Yep.
You have residual income where you can trade time for $1 and continue to get paid on that initial. That's an insurance salesman. You have car insurance.
Yeah.
I close you on that car insurance, and I continue to get paid every month that you make your payments.
The residual. Yeah.
But I still have
money.
I still have to maintenance it though.
Yeah.
Because you may get a new car, or you may have an accident.
Yeah.
So I'm not just on the beach. But then there's passive income, which is money that you make even for doing no work. So that's leveraging. You can either leverage people or money for passive income.
Right.
So ultimately, we all want to have multiple streams of passive income. And if you're leveraging in the stock market, that's one example of leveraging your money.
Yep.
Or if you build a business that runs without you.
Right.
And usually that takes time.
Creating that asset, creating that machine.
That's what you're doing when you're bringing on other people to be partial owners. Is eventually, if they're good enough, it can allow you to step further and further away from the business and make it more and more passive for you.
That's right. And that's what, you said earlier about how most blue collar or smaller business owners they own a job, not a business, right?
Yes.
And that's why I try to teach business owners is you have to remove yourself from the business. You have to create that machine, make that machine make money for you, make that an asset before it's actually a business. Otherwise, you just own a job. And it's okay, nothing wrong with it. But if you really want to be a business owner, you have to get the right people, remove yourself from that business and let it run as a machine.
Yeah.
You still got to what's
the Aesop fable of the golden goose?
Oh, what is that?
It's a great analogy of the king actually had this, or the pauper finds this goose that's laying golden eggs, and that golden egg continues to, that goose continues to lay these eggs, one a day though.
Right.
So over time he gets a bit greedy, and he decides, something, I'm just going to cut this goose open and get all the eggs right now.
Oh, yeah. I remember that fable, yeah.
So that's the whole concept of your business too. Sometimes if you're not patient enough and understand time value of the dollar and actually that you don't want to kill your asset, which is the goose, not the egg.
Right.
It's the goose.
Right. It's not the money you're getting out of it. It's the machine that's producing
it. And that's in that book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People as well.
This was a good show, man. Like, we got a lot of good content.
For nothing that we prepared, that was
I know, right?
Pretty
Well, Mark, is there anything else you want to tell the viewers out there? Do we have a question came through?
Yeah, we have one question.
Okay.
This is from June's Fit. If you were, I think it's towards you, Kurt. If you were a football player, what position would you play And could you relate that position to anything in business?
Oh man, I played some football. I actually played a little bit of arena football.
All right.
Nothing.
You look
close
like
to this,
you look like
right?
you're working out.
And I really like defense. I love running with the ball. Like I love having that showy ball and like showing my moves. But I like hitting.
You like hitting people.
I like hitting people.
I can feel that even when I sat down here. First time I met you.
Yeah, so I was a strong safety. That was
Okay.
my favorite position to play.
Wow.
Was I got to drop back, do some pass protection, but I got to come up and hit some people. So
Right.
June, I love playing strong safety, and I think, and I don't know how it is from level to level of football, but when I played, strong safety had a lot of leadership.
Yes.
On the team. So I would say how I relate that to business is being the captain, where I'm steering the ship, where I'm pointing the ship in the direction where it needs to go, and rally the team together. And I'm no better than any other member of that team. I'm not above. There's no hierarchy, but I'm just helping point in the right direction.
Lots of great strong safeties, and when you relate it to business, that's a guy that's got range. So linemen, they're just gonna put their hand in the dirt, and that's all they can do, really. As a strong safety, like you said, you can actually get the ball in your hand and be that glitz and glamour guy
Right.
on an interception, taking it to the house, or you can come up and lay the hammer on the guy, which is that's an awesome position, a great analogy actually.
And for business too. Right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's great. Well, all right, guys, that is the BCE Show. It's a Blue Collar Entrepreneur Show. My guest, Mark Jackson. Man, I had a good time with you today, man. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks.
And send us some more questions. We'll be here every Wednesday at noon. And thanks for tuning in.